All right, welcome back to the Real Estate Huddle, and we are on episode 45, which is our community spotlight episode. It's time for us to dig into one of our towns here in our local area, and today we picked Highlands Ranch, Colorado, and this is a cool one. The town where I live, Brock lives, Jackson used to live. Right, so we've got and where Kristen works, where we all work.
It's where
our office is. So we are definitely local experts on Highlands Ranch and the community, and so we help people a lot for their real estate needs as far as buying and selling here. But today we just want to talk about the town, talk about the city, and what makes it unique and special, and what draws people to it. We just found out, we're shocked, there's a 1.67% population decline in Highlands Ranch. It's probably the first time in a long time that's ever happened. Most of the time it's growing, and you see new construction that's happened every year. We actually have 48 lots that are going to be built right in my neighborhood that are coming up about a month from now. They're going to break ground, and so there's still some new builds coming, but it's almost done, right? Almost built out. So the only stuff that's like coming up now is like expired zoning on school zones, where like now builders come in and buy the lot and they can build on it now. But the master plan, that's what makes Highlands Ranch unique, it was a master plan that was about a 40-year plan that's been executed to a T. And Mission Viejo bought this land and developed this land. And then they sold it off to Shea Homes, who is now still a prominent builder in our community. And so that's kind of the history. You can still see the mansion that was owned by a lot of these families. There's like 6 to 8 families that own this mansion and the 250 acres around it. And so you can still visit, tour the mansion. It's a really cool building that they do a lot of wedding receptions and events and stuff like that as well. But just what's it like, you guys, to live in Highlands Ranch? What is that experience like for you, Jackson, growing up, or for us now with young kids and stuff?
Yeah, I think it being a master plan community, it's like when I think of Highlands Ranch, it's kind of like just suburbia, like what people picture in an idyllic suburban area. I always felt extremely safe. There's a ton of like restaurants, shopping, stuff. I was able to like bike or longboard to things as a kid before I could drive, which was like really nice to have a little bit more independence, more freedom that way. But yeah, it's just like classic suburbia. When I was growing up, it was a lot of young families, so there was like other kids in the area. So Highlands Ranch is great.
Yeah, I think they've done a good job with the plan. So all the major thoroughfare roads are kind of everything funnels into it. So traffic is very predictable and very consistent. Roadways are planned out, so there's not this eminent domain where they have to reclaim land to expand a road. It was all thought out. School areas were kind of planned out, so that were one that didn't pan out, where they're building the new homes over in Westridge Glen, because there was a charter school that kind of consumed a lot of the kids, so the public school never got built. So now they've rezoned
stop
that
them
land,
from consuming those kids.
Yeah, exactly.
That's messed up what they're doing over there.
They're so tasty.
Not good kids, yeah.
So I also, some of the things I really like about Highlands Ranch that really kind of appealed to me when I was moving out here is we have a lot of open space, something that I didn't know until I got into real estate and actually looked at the floodplains. The open spaces are the 100-year floodplains. So none of the houses in Highlands Ranch are built in a floodplain as it was zoned out. So if we ever get a massive storm or anything else, all that water stays in the open space, and it's like a dog park and some city parks and stuff like that may get some flooding and stuff like that, but it's not actual people's residence. So that's very well planned out on that aspect of things. We have the rec centers. There's 4 major rec centers, and I'd like to say there's the 5th rec center. The backcountry, there's got a lot of private trails. So for mountain biking and hiking, there's just tons of avenues back there, and it's kind of go at your own pace. They have races there in the summertime, which are kind of fun. There's a very big cycling community and a lot of competition there. So there's some pretty elite cyclists that come out to play in those races. But not just a great setup, and it's one of the largest HOAs in the world or in the country here, or
Largest in Colorado and one of the largest in the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's $60 a month or something like that. And you get access to pools, indoor, outdoor, fitness facilities, indoor lacrosse, soccer.
Even less,
batting
68
cages.
a quarter.
It's the best. Yeah. growing up, especially, I think the rec centers were the best part of living there because my brother and I, like if you have kids, of course, we would be able to just walk over there, bike over there, get a workout in at the gym. They had basketball teams through the rec centers and stuff, a lot of enrichment programs and activities. And yeah, compared to any other HOA that you're going to see while you're house hunting, dollar for like what you get out of that HOA, I don't think anywhere can beat Highlands Ranch. If a place has more amenities than Highlands Ranch, the HOA is going to be more expensive.
Yeah.
And if the HOA is cheaper, then you're not going to have the amenities. So
Very well ran too. Yeah, not too nitpicky on covenants, I feel like, but they make the neighborhood look good. You can't do anything crazy with your house, but they're not like on top of you for every little thing, I feel like. So it's well ran. There's going to be some some comments on here from people that are like, yeah, right, I got this letter. That is, I'm sure.
We call them love letters.
paint your garage, Daryl.
Come on, Daryl.
Well, the other thing that stands out is like the events that they do. So they do like every weekend. They in the summertime they do a farmers market at Town Center.
Yep.
They also have like blood drives at the rec center. From what I've seen, like once a month, once every 2 months.
They got
that
concert
you
in
can
the
sign up for
parks.
that. Concert in the park. They have like cultural events. I've seen like a couple dancing cultural events that they do, and they kind of do a series of like 3 cultural events in and
Sequence.
kind of do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
So those are cool to see. And sometimes they do these monthly events, sometimes they do weekly events. So I mean, they really have stuff going on all the time.
Yeah, and they're doing
Which is
5Ks all the time
Oh,
for
yeah.
race events. So they've got the mountain biking, which is like 4 races and different trails in the backcountry, the
Yeah.
5Ks,
They had a Mother's Day 5K, a St. Patty's Day 5K.
turkey trot for Thanksgiving, and
Yeah.
they have a
Backcountry half marathon.
half marathon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really promotes the fitness. They do have an archery range over there. They do have for some of the kids, they've got horseback riding and some of the nature exploration out there too. So it's just a great overall good activity there, and it's real close. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the rec centers too, like each one has something that's kind of unique in it. So like there's indoor turf soccer field in one that's got leagues that go on all the time. Another one has a rock climbing wall, which is really cool and fun. Another one has a pool that has a zip line and like some really fun things there. A lot of the pools have water slides and different things. So we're not talking about just like your basic, here's a pool, here's a weight room. Like there's some really cool thing. A golf simulator.
yeah, and
on
Southridge,
that one.
They're big facilities.
Yeah, Southridge has a lazy river, which is a great one. So
Yeah.
A splash pad and so it's just awesome. Like it's such a great place to live for the amenities and like free entertainment that you get for $168 a quarter. It's just crazy.
Yeah, these concerts are free that Brock was talking about. Yeah, and I mean,
They're great events.
The farmers market, obviously, it's like
Yeah.
you free to go to. So
Why would someone not like to live in Highlands Ranch? Just wondering.
I'd say if you're younger, there's no nightlife in Highlands Ranch. Like once it gets late, Highlands Ranch is the city that sleeps. They're not up.
Oh come on,
They're not
Wendy's
doing
is open
anything.
till 11, man.
Maybe
The streetlights
get
come on, it's a
frosty,
curfew.
Get crazy with the boys. But yeah, I think if you're younger, Highlands Ranch, there's a lot of stuff to do for like families, for older people. But for younger people, you might want to be a little bit closer to Denver, to the city, to things like that.
we have to leave the town to get to a Costco.
Why Jackson moved away.
Yeah,
He lives in a little more urban part of town, a little more things to do around him. Definitely.
But yeah, I think if I had a client who was like a single, really active guy, and I'm actually thinking of a specific client who is in Highlands Ranch now.
Not Daryl.
Not Daryl. No, Daryl still needs to paint his garage though.
I'm still complaining about the HOA.
But yeah, he like this particular client, he was like, I don't go out and party. Like I don't ever go to bars. It's just like me and my dog, and I like to go on hikes. I think there's a ton of, like you were saying, trails stuff. Like if you're wanting to go to Daniels Park and do stuff like that, I think it's just a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah. What's your jam, right? Is it
Yeah.
urban life, nightlife, or is it outdoorsy, granola.
Yeah, very suburban.
Yeah, but I agree. I think if you love the outdoors, like it's beautiful scenery. You're close to the mountains. You're close to a lot of trails. Like you can't beat it as far as that goes. And then with if you're active, right? Like you want to go to the rec centers and work out all the time and still have everything around you, shops, restaurants, like all the stuff that you need. It's great. But some people like feel the need to be closer to the city, closer to all the action, and it's just not the town for them probably.
Yeah, and if you want to have like your favorite chain nearby or the new trendy like chain, like Highlands Ranch has everything. Like they have every big restaurant chain is going to be there. If there's a new trendy one in Texas, there's going to be one that pops up in Highlands Ranch.
Torchy tacos.
Yeah, so
Hashtag.
there's definitely that. Just to kind of like play devil's advocate, I think there's less like mom and pop shops. There's less like, oh, I can get really authentic XYZ food here or whatever.
Yep.
It is more, corporate chains, things like that, but you have a ton of options to choose from.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. And you skipped over backcountry pretty quick, but like that's pretty special, right? And I'm surprised because you're a mountain biker.
No, it's a great activity. So I can, from the garage, I can just hop on a bike and go, and I can ride for 25, 30 miles and just go out and back and come back and get a good exercise in. It's wonderful. There's
Lots of just up down hills. It's not like these continuous climbs.
Yeah,
right?
it's a little bit more break from the the front range stuff that you got to go on. So at the highest point in Highlands Ranch, you can see all the way down to Pikes Peak. You can see Devil's Head Lookout. You can see a lot of the other prominent 14ers right in the front range here. So it's a real pretty area there. You can get all the way over to the Wildcat Loops on the west side or the east side of town there. They've got some great loops over there. So from like Rock Canyon, and that'll go all the way over. They can get into Lone Tree and into some of the bluffs over there as well. So
cool. Not to mention views of downtown, Denver Tech Center, like all the city too.
Yeah, you can see quite a long way. So you can from the peak, you can see Chatfield, you can see Waterton Canyon,
Chatfield Reservoir, lake, boaters, listen up. If you live in Highlands Ranch, there's a lake that like connects within 10 minutes, right? You're at the lake. So that's a pretty cool reservoir where you can do all kinds of boating activities, water sports, stuff like that. It's not in Highlands Ranch technically, but you can see it from Highlands Ranch. So I can talk about it.
But I don't know, I love taking the kids back there. It's a real fun, mountain biking adventure. It's really close, but it is at a skill level where you can kind of make some variety in there. They've got some features back there that you can ride. But there's a lot of people who are running and hiking and walking their dogs back there too. So,
yeah. And I'd say like, I don't know if clean is the right word, but like, very well managed, well taken care of. You're not going to like enter a weird pocket of Highlands Ranch where you're like, whoa, this neighborhood is like completely different than everything. And this is scary. Like it's all kind of the same thing.
Homeostasis. Yeah. It's homeostasis has occurred. So
Low crime rate, good schools, really good schools, strong schools pretty much everywhere.
Yeah. And I think Daniels Park and like the Highlands Ranch Mansion, that area, is really great, just for exploring, going out, having a day in the sun. Just a really big open space area that I think kind of exemplifies like Colorado Plains sort of area.
And it's very dog friendly. They've got dog parks throughout in a lot of the open spaces too. So you see a lot of people. I know in the mornings I'm out walking the dog or riding a bike, and I'll see a lot of folks doing that too. So
And I feel like there's a lot of jobs too. Like there's a lot of healthcare facilities. So UC Health, Children's Hospital, Kaiser, those are all like right by our office.
Definitely.
And right next to each other. So there's a lot of jobs there, and they're all walking distance from restaurants.
And we've got Blue Origin is right off of Lucent there, off by 470. You've got a Lockheed facility there. Not their main one, but one of them there. So, and there's also a Human Space Flight Center over by the Walmart off of Quebec and 470. So, great schools. There's a lot of, the STEM school, and got a lot of other charter schools that are really popular here too.
And Valor Christian Private School, home of Christian McCaffrey, his school that he played football at and dominated here, and then went on to play in the NFL. So they end up winning a lot of championships. I guess fortunately if you're a fan, unfortunately if you're not of Valor.
If you want the nicest high school with the biggest facilities and craziest stuff, you should check out Valor, because their campus seems to grow every time that I'm over there. They've added a whole new building. Like, they have a sports complex. They don't have like go to the gym in the school that's musty and old. Like, they have a sports complex.
It looks like DU from the road too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
With,
yeah.
like just how beautiful the campus is and stuff.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's insane.
There's a lot of scouts that come through town for that. So, because there's a lot of prestige with those folks. So,
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, if your kid's
Beautiful.
an athlete,
Yeah.
start there.
Yeah.
really good place.
Definitely. A lot of good coaching, NFL coaches, right, on their staff, like all over the place. So it's crazy. Or former NFL players. But Park Meadows Mall, not in Highlands Ranch, right next to it, right across the street in Lone Tree. That's one of the biggest like shopping centers in the country, and so that's right there. Not quite as cool as your Mall of America. I went there. It's amazing. But it's a great shopping resort is what they call it. And so you have everything you need. Great spot in town. And I can't say enough good things about Highlands Ranch and just proximity to the mountains, downtown. We say that it's kind of isolated from the city, right? But it's like 20 minutes you're downtown.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is if you're kind of a balanced person and you want to go downtown or go out occasionally, it's good. I mean, you're still pretty close to Red Rocks. And you're not too far from downtown, so it's not like you're completely isolated.
Yep.
Yeah.
And 470 going through Highlands Ranch, I think, is great because you can hop on 470 going east or west, and that takes you, like, if you're going west, you go up to Red Rocks, kind of curves around there. You're going east, you can go out to the airport, and 470 connects to I-25 there, which is like our main road that you take up to Denver. So while you might be geographically further from things in terms of drive time, it can actually be pretty short for Highlands Ranch.
Yeah, and they're redoing Santa Fe, which is just south of 470 in that area. So that'll open up a lot of things too. So that'll people coming from the Castle Rock area and coming up, that'll open up quite a bit there.
Yeah.
Yep. And they have programs like in schools. If you have, there's a lot of special needs programs. There's a STEM school, like Brock said, that has the math and science focus. There's Ivy programs to prepare you for more Ivy League education, that sort of thing that a lot of people are into. So it just depends on what your kids need. If you have kids that need different things in schools, there's a lot of options as far as Highlands Ranch goes. It's just really quality education. So this in no way is a knock on any other city, but Highlands Ranch is pretty amazing. It's a great place to live, and a lot of people love living here. 102,000 people as far as the population size goes. Average price is $667,000. So it is a little higher price point, but you can get in on condos and townhomes that are, around the 400 range, and then all the way up to, 10 million, something like that in backcountry, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I think Jared Stidham's back there.
Yeah.
The Broncos probably backup quarterback now.
Coach Malone of the Nuggets is back there. There's quite a few like just pro athletes that have been back there, and
If you're a motivated stalker, you can spend a lot of money and come to Highlands Ranch.
as long as you can make up a good story, you can get through the gate. Just backcountry is gated. The rest of Highlands Ranch is not a gated community. It's just like Jackson said, kind of
Super
suburbia.
safe, yeah.
You're normal.
And people are friendly too. Like, people wave. I'm in Lakewood now. The vibe overall of strangers is less friendly, just in general.
Yeah. Well, and I had my neighbors that moved here from San Jose, California, that came out, and I met him like right when he moved in, and came over and greeted him, and he just said, he's like, wow, that never would have happened. Like, we lived in San Jose for 7 years, and nobody ever came to meet me or shake my hand. And he's like, that's one thing we like, why we moved here, is because we wanted just a more friendly environment and stuff. We hear people from Chicago, New York all the time too say, wow, I can't believe how friendly people are in Colorado and in Highlands Ranch and Douglas County or whatever. So it's cool to hear those comments, and I'm sure there's negatives, there's just, you run into everything everywhere, right? There's whatever you're looking for, you can find, but I think it's a good place to live, and a lot of people have positive things to say about it.
And a great place to raise kids. So
Yeah, definitely. No question. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today. Hope you learned a few things about Highlands Ranch. If you are moving to Highlands Ranch, this is our area of focus. Like, we would love to be your realtor of choice, and we'd love for you to reach out to us. You can subscribe below to our channel as well as our podcast, and we'd love to hear from you. And we actually have a form here as well on YouTube that you can fill out, and we can learn a little bit more about you, and we can connect so that we can help you with your real estate needs if you have any. Or if you just have questions about the community and you'd like to know a little bit more, we're happy to be your tour guides on the phone to show you more or tell you more about the city and what you should know about it. So thanks again. We'll catch you on the next one. So if you have enjoyed what you're listening to and you'd like to hear more, make sure to press that subscribe button so that you can not miss out on any more episodes that are coming up. And also check out all of our contact information is below. You can see us at the dreamsmithteam.com to look up more information about our team and our history and all of the members of our team, and see contact information that you can reach us if you have any real estate needs.
See you next time.